So we also have the income approach to calculating aggregate output or GDP. So remember that was from the other side of the, we had the expenditure side of the circular flow of income and expenditures. We had the expenditure side, we also had the income side. So the expenditure side was thinking about those categories on the right, or my right-hand side, where the income was this other side of this circle. So this is another way of calculating GDP. We're not going to use it as much in the course because it's not the basis of our model, but you should know that they're equivalent and how we'd actually calculate GDP from this income side. So GDP is also the sum, so the total of factor, we're going to explain what this means, of factor incomes and other claims on the value of output. So factor incomes are things like wages, I'll just put numbers, wages, rent, profit, interest. These are all factor incomes. So household own the companies or the factories, and so they rent them out or they get the profits. They loan money so they earn interest. Wages are paid for things like labor. So that's all part of factor incomes. And we also have these non-factor payments that are going to be included in this income approach. This is going to be indirect taxes, less subsidies, so when you go and spend money, that money doesn't, that whole amount of money doesn't go to the domestic producer. Some of it's taken out in taxes and things like that. So if we're using this approach to calculate GDP, we have to re-add that, the taxes, right? That was, remember the taxes was coming out of that left-hand side. We just got to make sure we include it in order for these two sides to be equal. So indirect taxes and depreciation of existing capital stock. So as we use, machinery and things like that, the wear and tear erodes the value of this machinery. And so depreciation is kind of the dollar value of this wear and tear, and we need to kind of add that back in. So in terms of the GDP from the income side, is going to be net domestic income. So all these factor incomes, plus these indirect taxes, minus subsidies, plus the depreciation. And so this is what the GDP from the income side. If we wanted to calculate it through the income side, we'd be adding up these three different things. And this is just to make, and the two sides should be equal as a result, right? We had the expenditure side on this side of the circular flow, and then we had the income side on this. So we're just making sure they're equal to the same thing. So this is the income approach.